In this video we are going to learn about the logical function if. But before that we need to complete the given table. Suppose a class of first year students had 3 tests with the maximum marks of 50. Then complete columns C, D and E using rand between function. First we will define a table. On the basis of this table we will find average of their marks, and based on that, using if function, we will decide whether the student has passed or failed. Using rand between function. So first I'll select the cell where I want to use the rand between function. Equals, if I type RA shows me different functions starting with RA rand between. I click on rand between. Because this is just an arbitrary table, let the marks of the students are between 20, the bottom value is 20 to the top value is 50. Close the bracket, enter. Using autofill feature, I can just calculate the marks of other students. If I use the autofill features in horizontal direction, I can also calculate the marks in table 2 and also the marks in table 3. Using rand between function, I completed column C and D and E. These are arbitrary ID numbers of some students who have scored these marks in a test with maximum marks 50. To find the average of the students in column F. This is a column for calculating average. I want to calculate average of test 1, test 2 and test 3 for individual students. So select the cell equals average. If I type AV, it will show me all the functions starting with AV, average. Double click on average. We want to calculate average starting from first test to third test. Bracket close, enter. Gives me average. If I use autofill feature, I can just calculate the average of all the students. Based on this average, I have to select whether the student has passed or failed. Because the total or the maximum marks in the test is 50, so I'll consider a value that is, say, 30. This is an arbitrary value. I can say that the student is pass if the average is more than 30. The student is fail if the average is less than 30. So 30 is the figure or the number which will decide whether the student has passed or failed. So based on that criteria, I'm going to define a function. I'm selecting the cell equal. I'm using if function, so I'll just type if the cell value, if the cell value, comma, if the cell value is greater than or equal to 30. If the cell value is greater than or equal to 30, then the criteria is the student is pass, inverted comma close, or fail, inverted comma FAIL, fail, inverted comma close, bracket close. If logical function is always defined as the logical statement, its value if it is true, then its value if it is false. The value true and false should be inside the inverted commas, and the first statement if should always be followed by the logical statement. And only one criteria is given to us. That is the reason we are using if. Otherwise, for more than one criteria, we can use ifs, and we call it a nested function. We define the if function again, and this is how we can calculate the result on the basis of if function. So I'll just enter. It tells me whether the student is pass or fail. If I use this autofill feature, I can see whether the student has passed or failed using if logical function.